that my sister?
The film begins with some scientists carrying what seems to be a mysterious scientific object into a secluded area. They got to their destination and quickly placed the object in, but unknowingly for them, Henry had already bridged their security. While in the run, many security guards began to chase after him, but fortunately for Henry, he defeated them all to escape. In a plot twist, we get to find out this perpetrator was never Henry, but a young girl named Missy Martin. She eventually got home safely, and it was at this moment we get to know that the device which she had stolen is a device mechanism that could alter reality and also even bring back the dead like Henry Hart. After which, a voice began to narrate who Henry was, stating that Henry was just a boy who loved his job as Kid Danger, but his identity remained a secret and also kept Swellview safe as this was his and Ray's dream. Although they had help along the way, as they met a bizarre genius named Schwarz, Henry's best friend named Jasper and Charlotte, and even Henry's little sister called Piper. However, an incident occurred where Henry had no other options than to sacrifice himself to save Swellview. Although everyone thought he had died from that incident, so for him to be on his own, he let them think so. The scene then shifted to Jasper having a conversation with a young lady, Detective Jones, about Henry. In a brief moment, we get to see Henry preparing himself. Back to Jasper, he got approached by Piper and Schwarz. Piper and Jasper discuss about Henry, but just then Schwarz insisted that they all go get Henry. Immediately, Jasper informed them about an impending mission ahead as dystopia runs on nuclear power, so it buys fuel rods from other countries, and once the delivery trucks pass right them, the Blackout plan is to destroy the plutonium fuel rods.
No power, no lights.
Quickly, Schwarz realized that once it is destroyed, it will bring total darkness to the city. Meanwhile, Henry is in a press conference having an interview, but just then, the powers immediately went out. Schwarz then quickly began his work while the truck approaches them. Once the truck was already close by, a mystery being known as Blackout arrived and immediately eliminated the driver. Before a battle then broke out between Jasper and the mystery being. This was a long extended battle, but just then, Henry arrived at the scene also. The mystery being rushed to attack Henry, but he quickly dispatched him. Once the battle was over, he headed straight to Piper and Schwarz to greet them before he met with Jasper. Just as Henry leaves the scene, the mystery being appeared again, but this time, Henry gave it a brutal punch, sending it flying through the sky. After which, Jasper is furious at Henry as everyone think Henry is his boss, but just then, Henry informed Jasper that he is leaving. When Henry got home, he found his building in total mess. Unfortunately for him, the mystery being appeared yet again, and giving Henry a fatal kick which eventually pushed him, but just then Missy Martin uses the machine to teleport Henry to her universe. She informed Henry that he is now in Newtown, and she had just brought him from the dead. Henry still can't process all this, but just then, a little girl named Gemma barged in, so Henry ran straight to her while also begging for her help. Missy begged her sister not to inform their mom. Later on, Missy explained to Kid Danger how he landed in her room, as she had used the reality-altering device to bring him back to life, but just then, Henry informed her that he was never dead, and he had just planned all that story to fake his own death in order to live his life. This made Missy very furious, as she has always been sad about the news that her favorite superhero had died. Henry apologized about the whole scenarios, insisting that all he ever wanted was to protect his family and be himself, which is a lot easier if his enemy think he is dead. Immediately, Missy hugged him and asked about Jasper and Charlotte. Henry was shocked by this fact, but Missy quickly informed him that she even knows about his real identity. Later, Missy told Henry that she had brought him to her town in order for them to fight crime together, stating that there is so much crime in Newtown. She went on to explain to Henry that most time, she and her little sister hardly make it home from school due to the crime rate. But unfortunately for Missy, Henry informed her that he has to get back to dystopia as he also has a thing or two going on there. He requests that she send him back to dystopia. So Missy prepared the reality-altering device, but just then, Henry heard a woman voice screaming for help. The two went to check it out, and we found out that Coach Craig was behind this. Henry isn't bothered by this as he kept on insisting that he need to get back to dystopia. Although after a short conversation, Henry agreed to help out, but Missy requested to tag along. Henry got down, but Coach Craig brutally beat him before insisting that Henry gives him 20,000 push-up, which he did. Missy came to his rescue, but yet again, Henry requests he need to get back home to get his superpowers. While Missy was on it, Piper now with powers arrived, so quickly, Missy uses the reality-altering device to teleport them. Unknowingly, Piper had taken what looks like the key from them. Afterwards, Henry and Missy arrived at a party where Missy narrates to Henry on how she made Piper evil in her story after Piper had long kicked her out of the Henry Danger fan group. At the same party, Henry found Piper at the event, but just then Missy realized something isn't right. A moment later, she and Henry began to drag the reality-altering device. Henry figured out that the device was put in story mode, so he told Missy to undo it, but she informed him that she has no idea on how to do that, because she stole the machine and didn't build it herself. Although she informed Henry that from her story, Henry isn't the superhero but a sidekick and she had built in a partner for him aside from her, but this time his partner isn't with Captain Man but with Captain Stash, which has been portrayed by Jasper, and he can even fly, something Henry has always wanted as Kid Danger. Henry and Missy narrates the whole story to Piper and Jasper. However, Henry is of the opinion that every universe, there is always a Schwoz. Henry eventually found Schwoz washing a dish in a restaurant and doesn't seem to be interested in anything Henry wanted to say. Although after much push from Henry, Schwoz agreed to help out. Just as he did so, a loud noise began and obviously, it was Coach Craig behind it. Henry quickly transformed, but not with his traditional costume, which he doesn't like. Henry later approached Coach Craig and attacked him, but unfortunately, he got beaten badly. Jasper soon later came to his rescue. Schwoz informed them that he is done with the reality-altering device, but he also needed a crystal to make it work, but just then a young man arrived and began to drag the reality-altering device with them. As a result, it teleported them to a different dimension. In this dimension, they are all in animated form. Later, they all got back to Newtown, but sadly, Piper and Coach Craig appeared again quickly. Henry and Missy ran for safety but left their male friend behind, who in return got bitten by Piper, which then turned him into a vampire. Henry figured out that if they got bitten by any of the vampire, they will lose their mind and will remain in this alternate reality. Unfortunately for them, they got caught by Coach Craig. Piper then questioned them about the reality-altering device, which Missy replied, "It takes them to Otherworld." Piper then saw this as an opportunity to conquer more world. Piper then requested for the reality-altering device, but just then, Missy uses it to teleport Henry and her. In this universe, they met with Jasper and immediately explained to him about their situation. But in this universe, there is a bigger problem at hand as some group of individuals are trying so hard to attack Jasper. So Henry and Jasper set a plan to attack them, which eventually worked successfully. Once they were done, Schwoz arrived and took him to where the reality-altering device was so he could work on it. Although, just then, they realized that the crystal is with Piper, and this was the reason the reality-altering device is in story mode. Immediately, Missy began to apologize to Henry, claiming she caused all this. Soon after, they all devise a plan to steal the crystal from Piper, but the bad side here is, if Piper eventually wins, she will use the device to go through multiple dimensions to conquer it. Although they all decided to go through with it and immediately, they got to Newtown, but unfortunately when they arrived, Piper was already with Missy, little sister. Piper then sent her goons to attack them all, and immediately, a serious battle then ensues. Schwoz, on the other hand, began to work in accordance to their plans, while Jasper began to fight Coach Craig off. Henry and Missy got into the building where they found Piper. Immediately, Missy attacked Piper, but unfortunately for her, she got knocked out. A serious fight began with Henry and Piper, and this was a long battle. Just as they were fighting, Missy arrived and attacked Piper, giving them an opportunity to steal the crystal, but sadly, Missy got bitten by Piper. She gave Henry the crystal and immediately began to have the side effects. Henry rushed out to pass the crystal to Schwoz while they fight off the vampires and Coach Craig. Piper, now realizing that her small team can't defeat Henry, then went ahead to bring more of her goons, but just then, Schwoz activated the reality-altering device, which eventually brought everyone back to their timeline. Later that evening, Henry met with Jasper to apologize for his behavior lately, while also thanking him for being a good friend. He informed him that he has finally decided to leave Dystopia, but firstly, he needs to attack and finish off the mystery being from earlier named Blackout. Once they were done with the attack, Jasper Crush, Detective Jones, approached him to take pictures with him. Back to Missy, she is now happy with her life, but just then, some goons approached her for her laptop, but just as they did so, Henry arrived and defeated them. Jasper and Schwoz also approached Missy, making her really happy, after which, Henry took her on a flying trip. The scene then shifted to Henry and Missy fighting crime as now, Missy is now his new sidekick. It was at this moment Captain Man arrived. The movie then came to an end. Kindly subscribe for more movie recap like this. Thanks for watching and goodbye.